So in this video, what I want to do is discuss with you the importance of understanding the core fundamental teachings in social interactions. A lot of these classical principles have been tested and split tested for decades now. And I want to put in context that the average thing that I would be teaching you has not just been tested for an hour or a week, but rather I'm sitting here at 42 years old and I have been going out to bars and clubs and social gatherings for about 20 years now. And a typical week for me when I was testing these ideas would be 4 to 8 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and testing this stuff over and over and over, and then me actually having friends of mine test it, students of mine test it, and even people that aren't friends of mine, just other people in my industry, and comparing notes and having debates on it and watching what it is that we're doing. And these ideas are basically meant to save you decades, and it's unfortunate because I think a lot of people just don't understand them. Now, how do I know this? Well, just a case in point, I'm sitting here right now in Seattle, Washington. I've just driven up the coast from the Redwood Forest, and in my last video, what I talked about was I said in my business, because it's growing, we are always looking for really, really talented people who could be a good fit for a 6-figure and eventually leading to a 7-figure position. And how frustrating it is for me that the average person is simply not the right fit, and how it's almost impossible to find anybody who's competent and serious and, to be honest, not just a clown. I'm just being honest. So from that standpoint, I actually said something as I was saying, as I said, it's probably not going to be you. You're probably not going to be a good fit. And I felt bad as I was saying that because it felt a little bit condescending as I blurted that out, or a little bit cocky, but really what it was this little kind of bell going in my head in the moment that I didn't quite know how to explain, which was basically that I know that as soon as I say that, I'm going to have all of these direct messages saying, I'm here for the millions. Where's the millions? What do I have to do? Where do I sign up for the millions? And of course, that's what happened. And so I could show you so many different DMs. I mean, even people who I'm like regular people who, that I just know through the scene that are, in my WhatsApp or in my text messages that are like, I'm ready for the millions, and I'm just seeing floods and floods of these come in. Now, look, I get that, and they always say you miss 100% of shots that you don't take, and that's a valuable principle. I think that there is some truth in that. But what I also think is that what people are doing is essentially what you call a Hail Mary, or they're taking a moonshot, doing the Hail Mary, and just thinking that they can sort of skip over the proper fundamentals of, say, applying for a job like that, and then just go right for the promised land, right? It's the kind of like whip it out, just go for it mentality with applying for a job, and it's something that actually makes me very, very disappointed. Now, I'm going to be teaching a free event right here in Seattle this week, and I'll just be right down there and teaching it. If you're from Seattle, make sure that you click the link below and you sign up for the free event. I'm going to be running it for several days. I'm going to be doing a ton of recordings for the channel there, but a huge amount of it will never come out, which is my favorite part of it that I never release. So click the link below. But also, if you're somebody who actually wants to see that part that I don't release, you can also click that other link below about the program that we offer, and it actually takes you through that component from home, and we wind up doing a quick phone call with you to make sure that you're touched up on it. We do that simply because a lot of people can't make it, so that's kind of the second best thing. That segment is very, very intense, and so you want a little bit of guidance through it, okay? So that course also is ultra, ultra, ultra intense. But look, if you're in Seattle, sign up. I'm going to be doing this in like 2 days. I'm doing San Fran, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Boston, DC, San Diego, Los Angeles, Miami, and I've got the team doing it all over Europe and all over the world. So wherever you are, click the link below and get your spot at the free event. And if you can't make it, even though you really should fly in, then just grab the course, click the link below, and we will get you up to speed. Now, seeing that, okay, I've actually been kind of driving up the coast, and I've been recording videos the entire way up the coast. So I recorded more videos in Redwood Forest that day, then I recorded some on the Oregon coast. I just came back from Mount Rainier today. I was in North Cascades Mountains yesterday, recording. But I wanted to actually jump ahead of those videos, which I'm going to be releasing this week and next week, here in Seattle, to just jump into this because my phone is filled to the brim with, I'm ready for the million. People taking the moonshot, people, throwing the Hail Mary. And it's a shame because not only does it show that you're not learning core fundamentals of social interaction, but it also shows, like, for some people that maybe have me in their WhatsApp or a direct line to me through text where they, here or there, I might respond, they're burning that connection down by throwing the Hail Mary. It's like if you were talking to someone that you're attracted to, and then you just start sending inappropriate pictures, and then you wonder why they don't hit you back. Now, again, what is it that I'm trying to teach you here? I'm trying to use that as an example of core fundamentals. Okay, so here's what some of the core fundamentals are, and if you could just understand this, you can be somebody who might be ready for that 6-figure job or 7-figure job, or to build a huge business, or to be a lot more successful socially, or to be an ambassador for your brand, or to make millions and millions of dollars in social media, or whatever else it is, if you could just understand these basic things. What you have to do to be really, really great socially is you need to spend, and this is a paradox and a balance, by the way, so I'll explain the other side of the paradox in a minute. You need to spend a couple of years drilling down on what other people are feeling and experiencing. Again, let me say this again. You need to spend a couple years drilling down on what people are feeling and experiencing. Now, this is in direct contrast to when we would say you've got to be yourself. It's in direct contrast to when you'd say, just be you, there's somebody for everybody, you're the one who's screening, they should jump through your hoops and so on and so forth. So it's this weird paradox between social calibration combined with total, utter confidence and not pandering to somebody. It's this weird paradox. And what you're going to find in social interaction is almost every truth is about a half truth. Every truth will have this kind of other side of the coin and counter examples, and this is one of those complicated ones. So on one side, there's a very, very powerful message that says you've got to be you, be who you are. But on the other side, there's this idea of spending a couple years auditing what other people are thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you how it is that I've been attached to over 100 million in sales. And the way that I did this was not just me saying, I'm just me, and you better like it, and you better like it when you get that appropriate pick, right? And you better send me back yours, right? I'm not doing that. What I've done for years and years and years is through the study of getting to know who it is that I'm trying to help, I have thousands and thousands of pages of notes profiling the different types of personalities of people who I help, the different positions they're coming from newbie to intermediate to advanced, the kind of sticking points that they're going to hit, the kind of emotions that they're going to feel. And what I'm doing largely was I spend about 50 weekends a year for about 2 decades training people in person. And as I'm doing this, I'm becoming better as a coach, and I'm creating massive, massive notes on everything that it is that the person's experiencing. So maybe you've had it to where you're watching one of my videos and you're thinking, how does he know what I'm thinking? How could he know this? This is so crazy. How does he know? How does he know? Is he psychic? I'm not psychic. It's a simple matter that I've spent the time to study where you're coming from. So in marketing, what it really is, a great marketer, they understand their customer avatar and they understand what their customer wants to experience at a very, very high level and to the point, and here's the main key, here's the big key to all of it. You have to be able to explain the problem to the person who you're communicating with better than they can explain it themselves. Okay, let me say that again. You have to be able to explain the problem better than they can explain it themselves. And if you can, then they will immediately deduce that you have the solution. So there's this basic format that, say that you're applying for a job. If you're like, I'm here for the million, you have to understand, like right off the bat, you're not going into the head of a potential employer at all because they're getting that from everybody. It's literally white noise. If you're not doing basic level math, okay? So this is kind of the next step to it. On one level, be able to understand what the other person's experiencing better than they can. The next one is do the mental math to understand what they're dealing with in their day. Are they very highly in demand? Do they have a scarce resource? Are there a million people wanting something from them to every one of them? And you've got to understand this at a very, very high level. So, say for example, I'm running a really fat party in the Hollywood Hills. And then, a bunch of my guy friends are like, yo, I'm rolling through, dog, with the squad. And I'm like, every guy friend I have is trying to roll through with the guy squad. How many girls are you bringing? Dude, I'm your boy. And it's like, if I don't make you bring girls, then by deduction, I'm not going to make other people bring girls, and the party's going to be only guys, and then you're going to ditch me. So don't give me this crap that, we're boys, because you're going to walk in my party and within 5 minutes you're going to walk out to a better party. So you're not actually my boy unless you're going to bring some girls. You're not bringing any value. But what people do is they want this weird special exception made for them, but then not for anybody else, but they're not actually bringing anything unique, okay? Another example that I had of this, I remember I had a chiropractor once. I really like this guy, actually. I'm sure he doesn't watch these videos anymore. If he did, I wouldn't say it. But I remember it was a chiropractor friend of mine, and he's like a really, really nice guy, but he's super shy. He was basically like a virgin. And I remember I said, you know what, like, just come roll with me. I actually really like you, bro. And if you want, you can give some adjustments to me and my buddies, and we'll show you how to get it done. And he really started getting it done. I mean, he actually had a new girlfriend who was very, very attractive. He had some really big wins, and it was kind of fun for us to watch it. And I think he spent 10 minutes here or there doing the odd adjustment. So finally he said to me, he said, Owen, I want to roll with you in the squad, but I want to be like you guys where I don't have to spend 10 minutes helping you. I just want to go with you guys and keep learning. And I said, well, you've got to invest something back. Like, I really like you. Like, you're cool. Like, I absolutely do like you. I view you as a friend, but you've got to understand, I've got children who I don't spend enough time with. I've got 20-year-old friends who I haven't called back. I've got a business that needs to be attended to. I've got one-on-one clients that I'm declining that are offering to pay me premium prices. I've got events that I'm declining that could be very, very lucrative and that I could be learning a lot and doing my passion. I've got videos that I'm not making. You're really cool, but you have to understand, you haven't really put a ton of work in yourself yet. And so, me saying, do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, to be able to be around this all the time, that was something that I did because we just like love you and we enjoyed cheering you on. It was kind of fun for us to see you winning, and it was kind of like watching like even though he's like a grown man, but it's like watching a little brother doing these really cool things, and you kind of feel good about it. And he chips in a little bit. He didn't want to do that anymore, and he'd have his own take of it, and I'm sure it would make a lot of sense and whatnot. I'm just sort of saying how I perceived it because I got to warn you, there's two sides to every story. Maybe I was a big jerk or something, who knows, right? I can be intense, so who knows? There's always two sides to every story, but that was just how I experienced it. And so, and not only that, but he was actually getting multi-millionaire other clients out of it. So that was what was even crazier. So he was banking off of it. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, so seeing him get to that point where he's like, no, I don't want to add anything back, it was sad to me because it showed that he didn't understand the lesson of why don't you add some value. If you're around, either somebody who has incredible genetics and is very attractive, in which case maybe their ancestors did some things right and they're the beneficiaries, or if you're around somebody who's very, very wealthy or very, very famous or who has access to incredible parties, and these are people specifically who could enhance your experience of life. Like, your life experience will be enhanced and more interesting from being around them, not from chasing clout and being like, oh, I'm a clout chaser. No, forget about that. I like real people. But, maybe they invite you onto a private plane to a private ski hill in Montana. And now you're sitting there, with Tom Brady off to the side of you, blasting down some ski hill in private powder, off in Bozeman or something like that, right? And it's not like you need this to be happy. Nobody does. You don't need a Hollywood Hills party to be happy. You don't even need to date somebody attractive to be happy. You could be happy staring at a wall meditating. It's not about needing something. Because a lot of people always say, they're like, I don't need that, I'm spiritual. And it's like, great, that's cool. But there is a space for getting around people who can enhance your life experience. You can have just cooler experiences. That doesn't make you some weird, needy, celebrity stalker or anything like that. It's just you playing the game of life. Like, I'm here, I want to add value to other people, I want to make the world better, and I want to do some cool stuff. Maybe you want to come to Seattle, maybe you want to come to one of my events, maybe you want to go hit Art Basel in Miami, maybe you want to go hit the south of France. Like, that's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person to want those things. It's just a problem if you feel like you need them as a foundation and you don't know who you are without them. But it's okay to go get them. It's this weird dichotomy between spiritual growth and living an enriching, expansive life, and they could absolutely be combined. It's just when you identify with these things, that's where the problem is. But you can also identify being a spiritual woo-woo person, same problem, right? You're bypassing life. So the purpose of life is to be here, and there's a lot of people who you could meet that can offer those better experiences. But you've got to understand that they have a million people coming at them, right? If you've got a buddy with a boat with 10 people on it, and you say he's doing a party, and he's got, 9 girls coming, and then you say, well, you just want to come, what are you adding to that? There's only so many spaces on that boat. So you've got to do the mental math and ask yourself, does this person have time to respond to this? Like, this is one that I get in my DMs a lot is, somebody will, I get a gazillion DMs, and every so often I'm going through them trying to find something, and I stumble on one that's interesting. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. Let me respond to that. I'll try to respond to that. And I'll try to do that here or there. So maybe 1 out of 1,000. And so sometimes I'll respond to somebody, and then they say, and they now have a direct line to me, like they've stumbled into that. And immediately, in 9 cases out of 10, unfortunately, it's like, could I ask a couple tips? What's the opening line? Look at how annoying that is when you consider that you've put out thousands of videos on this. You've given real life examples that have even made your life a misery to put out. I've gotten all these problems from putting this stuff out, but I put this out so people could learn it. And then you're asking me the most basic question in the world. And what you're not doing when you do that is you're not looking at the mental math of if Owen responds to every one of these questions, he's not Owen anymore. There is no free event that he spent tens of thousands of dollars to put on for me. There is no nonstop stream of videos that, we've had often several multi-million-dollar burn rate a year to put on. And I know you think that we make money from YouTube ads, but we actually don't. And it's ridiculous to even think that. You should go look that up yourself. So and I know you saw a little ad in front of it because they put that in front of everything now. Understand that YouTube ads does not pay you any money. Okay, we're a seminars business, and we, literally just off what our mouths can produce is what we get. Okay, so we produce this for you at the cost of several $1,000,000 a year. Great personal strife and all this crap. Can you at least look it up and not burn down my time and say, oh, hey, I need the opening line? Why don't you think to yourself, shift your perspective if you really want to learn this and say, how can you add value to me? Now, again, the problem with people in this mindset is literally, this is what's sad with people who don't get this. This is the super crazy thing. When somebody is in that kind of a small state, okay, they literally they need to always believe that they're being tricked and manipulated because of the fact that they're not that important. Their money represents very, very little. It's like a drop in a bucket. So in order to feel like their money and their influence is more important than it actually is, they want to feel like they're being tricked. Combine this as sort of another nuance. What can also happen is that if you're somebody who cares a lot about approval yourself, like you really need everybody to approve of you, you think that other successful people need your approval when they don't. You just can't even imagine that reality. So like, my approval has meaning, when it doesn't, because the person wouldn't have become successful if they cared about that kind of approval. So, if they had a hang up on validation from random people that didn't have a lot going on. So the basic idea is that if I say, why don't you add something to me when you ask me a question, the average person, if they're in that small mindset, isn't able to hear that. They think it's like a trick, like it's some weird thing where like I come on social media and I'm like, send me free stuff. I need the free stuff. Like they think it's like that because they're seeing it through their own reality. What I'm asking you to do is just suspend disbelief for like 1 millisecond and say, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's trying to help me. Maybe I could just try it one time. But it's almost like a spiritual bondage that keeps people so trapped that it distorts their perception that they can't see this, and it's like a warping in discernment, and then it's like they're not able to give it that level. But if you could just sort of like scarcity, and just open your palms a little bit and say, you know what, here you go, and you actually added value to people, then here's what would happen. In the same way that I do these videos on social media, and then what winds up happening is people watch them, they get good tips. I do free events, they get more good tips. I do free, big virtual free tours, people get more free tips. I do groups and free courses, and people get more free tips. And eventually they say, you know what, this is pretty cool, bro. Do you have anything I could buy? And I go, sure. And then I wind up having an 8-figure business because I added value first to you, and then eventually you like the value that you got, and I said, hey, click the link below if you want to buy something. You said, sure, bro, I'd like to be deeper involved. I like what you got going on here. That's how an 8-figure business runs. In the same way, what is your version of the things that you have up front? And you'll even see this with social media. Like, I'll tell people, use social media. They go, I ain't using no social media. I read the Cal Newport, the deep work, and it says it's distracting me. I say, be the creator, not the consumer. Are you saying that you shouldn't meet people in real life anymore? I do it the old-fashioned way. I do it the old-fashioned way too. You think I'm so attractive? I'm sliding in the DMs to meet anybody attractive? It's never happened once. I love that you think that. What a great compliment. Never happened to me once. It's just a simple follow-up for text instead of text messages that has videos. So people, they'll resist doing social media. They'll resist adding value on the front end. But imagine that you did this. Just imagine this. Imagine if instead of being butthurt about it and being stubborn about it, you actually just said, I'm willing to engage with you. Like, I'm not just going to be a taker anymore. I'm going to be a giver. We're going to find a win-win. And so here's what you do. You do two things. The first thing that you do is you think about, like, say that you want to, and I'm saying me for the people who hit me up on DM. I'm not saying you personally, but say that you want to meet me, or say that you want to meet, some attractive person from the bar, whatever. Make a plan of, get something cool going on that you could invite somebody to. Here'd be a simple example. Go meet a bunch of people that are attractive and find some kind of like industry night thing and have like a cool little hookup there, or, some cool little like bowling thing on Sundays with a bunch of people that maybe I'd want to meet, or, some cool little party. Maybe you could set up a party, maybe access to a cool boat, maybe access to some shooting, access to the ability to create social media, access to cool friends, maybe some kind of specialty knowledge that could be of use. Maybe you learn a little bit about sales copywriting and you can, make some sales copy suggestions. Just, maybe just like cultivate like a really, really great sense of humor and get somebody laughing and come across really special like that. But just think, what could I meet somebody out and invite them to? This is what I do when I live in Hollywood. I will see people who I watch on TV, some of my favorite TV shows, like the show Vikings or things like that. And I'll see the people sitting across from me at a restaurant, and I literally already have so many different cool things going on that I can just say hi for a little bit. Eye contact's on point, vocals on point, body language on point, frame control on point, self-abuse humor on point, just like the normal basic core principles. And then I just say, oh, I've got this thing going on. Yeah, you know what? If you ever want to roll through, be happy to have you roll through. You probably got a lot going on. You could always pop by and just check the vibe out. Come say hi for a sec. I'll have a lot going on myself, right? And so what I do is I create something where the basic principles of it are something that I would be doing anyway and something they could leave. Okay, repeat that after me. Something that you'd be doing anyway, something I'd be doing anyway, say that, and something that they can leave. And so it creates this easy window where it removes the downside and the person can kind of pop in. I've had so many different dates in my life where, I meet somebody out and it's like lukewarm, but I give them a cool invite. The offer's smooth. Then I say, hey, I'm doing a party at my friend's house. You could just roll through, just come say hi. I know, I'm going to be busy too. They come in, 90 seconds, they leave. And then I don't hear from them for like a month. And then a month later, maybe they had a little breakup or who knows what. They say, hey, that was cool, and we had that little party. Do you have another one going on? Oh, yeah, I had this other one going. Yeah, you could always roll through and say hi if you want. I'm going to be pretty busy, but just come say hi. They come by again. This time, 5 minutes, walk around, they leave. Then 2 weeks later, they say, hey, what are you doing tonight? hey, can we hang out? And one thing leads to another, and it's super awesome. Why did that happen? Because the offer is on point, something that is empathetic and considerate to the position that the other person is in, that they are overwhelmed with invitation, they are overwhelmed with people that want things from them, they have a hard time even getting back to core friends, they have a hard time, getting through the day because there's too much coming at them, and just saying, you know what, I'm like an island where you can relax. I'm not looking for anything, you just seem cool, I'm throwing it out there, you can take it or leave it, and guess what? There's a bunch of other people that exact same invite, so if you don't roll through, it's okay, right? Because this is a big obsession as well. How do I get that specific person to respond? You can't. And a lot of people will tell you that you can, it's great business, but that is a very, very creepy position to be coming from. What I'm always doing is I'm structuring cool things that I'm doing to invite people out to, and they could take it or leave it, and when they get there, the way that I frame it is like, we could be friends, maybe we could work together, or maybe we could be something more. But whatever the case, I don't really care, because we're either going to make some money together, we're going to be friends, and maybe you're going to introduce me to your friends, or maybe you're going to make me look super cool by associating to you, or maybe something more is going to happen. I don't really care, and that is sincere. That is genuinely sincere. I am not trying to, even spice up or sexualize conversations if I'm attracted to the person. Why is that? That might surprise you, right? Why don't I even feel the need to do that? Because in most of my environment, I am so much the person in charge in that environment, and I'm having so much fun, and I am so much in my element that even me feeling the need to do that in many ways would be me kind of lowering myself in that type of a context. Now, I'll do that for fun here or there. Look, everybody can have a little bit of fun here or there. There's a time and a place for everything, but I'm not like rushing to that. Like, I gotta spice it up. Like, this is my world. You're invited into my world. And so you can leave if you want, you can stay if you want, but I'm the one who is the giver of approval. I am not the one chasing approval, right? As opposed to if it's like, I'm here for the hookup, I'm here for the hookup, I'm here for the million, ooh, Hail Mary, this is the moonshot, right? I'm not doing that. I'm observing core fundamental principles. So at a core fundamental level, what it is that I'm doing is I'm basically just saying, what is important to somebody you're meeting? Your sub-communication is on point, right? That's eye contact, body language, vocal tone, vocal projection, cadence, things like that, underlying frame control, self-amusement, and so on and so forth. Just the basics, the basic fundamentals of meeting somebody that we've covered a million times. Oh my God, other videos about it, we'll do it again. Okay, so that. Then from there being, a very, very congruent person in that, not just like, kind of faking it, but actually being that person. Then from there, carrying yourself and owning your value, owning the fact that you have value, knowing that you have that status. From there being somebody who provides some fun emotions. From there being somebody who is the giver of validation that they might want, not the person chasing validation. And then being somebody who has somewhere better to go. Now, if you can just do this also in your social media, where that gets so powerful, is this. And this is another one that people just don't get. This social media thing has been so annoying because I will say the same thing over and over and again, and people will just not get it. Okay, so every time that I bring up social media, it's one of two things. It's either, are you saying not to meet people in the old school way and just to slide in the DMs? And I love that people think that I am good looking enough, that I'm sliding in anybody's DM. Okay, my MO is to have a lot of electricity, a lot of charisma, a lot of fun, meet somebody, not be needy, invite them in my world. It is not sliding in a DM like, yeah, okay, I am not that person. There's people, I have friends that can do that, okay? My buddy Greg O'Gallagher, he is he looks literally, he has a program called, it's like the Greek God method. He looks like that. I would assume he can slide in a DM, okay? I'm like the pear leprechaun method, okay? I'm not like, it's the pear leprechaun, whoop, whoop, right? I'm not doing that, okay? I am in a social gathering. I'm having probably more fun than anybody there. I am fun, I am indifferent, I am unique, I am controlling the frame very well, I'm very self-amused, I'm having a blast, I know freaking everybody, I don't need anything, and I'm inviting you somewhere cool. That is my MO. It's not this kind of like, slide into DMs. Okay, maybe someday it will happen. Wouldn't that be great? That'd be great. That's not me today. So I'm not trying to teach you that, but they'll always think that. Are you saying social media is that? No. Then from there, they also say, well, I don't want to reinstall my social media because I'll get addicted. Well, then don't get addicted to it. Then don't get addicted. And they say, well, what about the good old-fashioned way of text? Yes, you can do that. Look, you can make anything work, but here's the issue. Okay, here's the issue. Let's imagine that I meet you out and you had an interest to talk to me more. So you say, hey man, could we trade texts? I go, all right, which normally I'll actually say no. But let's say I go, all right, cool. Now I wake up. I've literally like, hey Dylan, come here. Okay, come over here real quick for a minute, okay? So, pop over, buddy. Come on over here, come on. Okay, so, look, I've got two of my kids out here. Here, popping over in here, buddy. I'm gonna lift you up for a sec. You're gonna say hi to everybody. Say hello. Just say hi.
Hi.
Okay, you can go. Okay, so, I've got Vincent over there. I've got my youngest son, Tristan, at home. I've got to drag them around the country so that we can spend quality time. Okay, and now they're away from their mother. I'm not, my kid is at home, literally missing me right now. I have not had a chance to catch up with some of my local friends here in Seattle. I've got local friends here in Seattle. I haven't even seen them yet since I've been here. I'm headed to San Francisco for my next free event. Click link below if you haven't signed up yet. San Francisco. I've got friends there of 20 years that I haven't hung out with. I've got my accounting team calling me and I haven't hit them back. I've got other people in my business that are calling me and I haven't hit them back. I've got videos that I've got to edit. I've got a 2-year backlog of videos that I've got to edit. I'm trying to ski every single ski hill. I've got to rehab my ACL coming up. I've got enough stuff going on. What are the chances that, we meet for 5 minutes out and then, you're like, hey, can I text you? I'm like, of course, right? And then like my kid's crying, my business is screaming at me, my friends of 20 years are wondering why I haven't hung out. And I'm like, cool, bro, let's go for coffee. So who are you anyway? What do you do? What are you about? Like, does anybody get ahead being like that? Look, that's a beautiful moment. When I'm out in public, I am always spreading good vibes to everybody if I've got any energy in me, which is most of the time. Not always, it can be tiresome, but 98% of the time, I'm out spreading good vibes. I'm spreading good vibes to the Uber drivers, spreading good vibes to the waiters, spreading good vibes to people on the street, because I love that. But I'm not going to the Uber driver and calling them and meeting up for lunch because I have got too much stuff to do. So when somebody says, I refuse to do social media, what you're really saying, here's what you're saying to me, and what you're also saying somebody you might be attracted to. What you're saying is, I want to destroy your life. Now you're thinking, I didn't say that. I just want to go for a nice coffee, like in a small town. I understand that. But what you're really saying is you want to destroy the person's life. Here's why. Because if I were to say yes to you when you come up to me in the street, that would mean that I'm saying yes to every single person who comes up to me in the street, which is 50 to 100 people on an average day. So because I've been doing this for 20 years, okay, my channel is kind of wiped out these days, but back in the day it was, it's a different day. So because of that, there's a lot of people, we've made an impact. And so I've got, maybe 20, 30 coffee invites a day or something like that every single day that I walk down the street. Now, if that's the case, and then I'm taking up all those offers, that means that I'm doing 20, 30 coffees a day. That's basically what you want me to do. So you're wondering why somebody appears disingenuous or snobby, but who's a snob? Why don't you simply put what you're up to and curate it on social media, and then if somebody meets you who you'd like them to expand your world a little bit, introduce you to their connections, introduce you to the attractive people that they know, introduce you to their parties, introduce you to all the different aspects of life that they've killed themselves to build. If you want that, why don't you put some cool things that you're doing so that you can actually bring something to the party and not be that dude who's rolling through with the squad, yo? Add something to that. So start really questioning to yourself right now, if I bumped into somebody who I want to meet, how could I add something to them? And this thing that I'd already be doing, this thing that I don't need anything from. And by the way, if they say no, that's okay. It's just thrown out there and that's up to them. But I'm going to work enough volume. And while I can't get any one specific person, including myself, to respond, I can meet people like that. I used to have this old video where people would say, like, how would you get Megan Fox? And what I said was, you're not gonna get Megan Fox. You can get someone like Megan Fox. Okay, you can get somebody like Megan Fox. You can get somebody who looks like Megan Fox. You can get somebody who has the appeal of Megan Fox. But you cannot stalk one single person and get them reliably, because that's called being a stalker. That's not how this works. Or maybe there's some creepy way to do that, but it involves some like really dark stuff that is like, we're not gonna even go there. That's just not happening. So the point being is that come from that abundance, like have something ready. So I'd ask you right now, write this in the comments right now. Write this in the comments. Write what it is that you have ready that you could help somebody with that you meet. Okay, I'm using myself as an example based on this kind of 6-figure, 7-figure job thing that I experienced this week. But it's not about even me. I'm just some loudmouth little wacky guy on social media. For the general people who you want to meet or who you want to attract, what invite can you offer them to that is something that you'd be doing anyway, and that is something that they could leave so they can pop through, something that you can build and invite people to. And there should be something local in your hometown. But even if I'm out here in Seattle, I'm not in LA right now, I should be able to quickly spin something together that I can invite other people to. In my case, a lot of time it's just events. If I'm doing an event, you can pop by, you can roll through. And that's because I'm running an event, but there's also many different things that you could do. And genuinely come from a place where you don't have an agenda. See, when you do that, like the place that I come from is, we could be friends, We could do maybe make money together somehow, or maybe we could be something more. And I don't care. That's real. What do you think that does to the buyer-seller dynamic when that's not a front, that's real? What do you think that does to your congruence? What do you think that does to your authenticity? What do you think that does to the believability that even though you could be a 6 in looks, that person who's a 10 would be lucky to get your attention? How would that flip that buyer-seller dynamic? I don't need to rely on that. Look, I can go to Vegas or Miami with the best of them, down to Cancun, and I can party like a rock star, and we can get it poppin' fast. I'm not saying that that is the only thing that I'm gonna do or that that's the only thing that you should do. But in addition to knowing that basic skill set of just getting it poppin' real quick, being hella funny, being that fun person, and getting it poppin' like now, you also wanna have another skill set to broaden your net so that yes, you have the people who you're meeting right now, but you also have this very, very broad net. And as a result of that, it's just like this huge thing. And you'll find when you do this, there's gonna be 5, 10, 15, 20 people a day that are trying to meet up with you. Now, notice how so many people will not take ownership of any of this. It's actually very, very sad. And it's to the point that you literally will see in the comments here, 100% of people who didn't even watch the full video. If they saw this part, they might not do it, but they won't watch the full video. They'll say, I don't care about no 6 figures. I don't care about no 7 figures. I don't care about no social media. I don't care about your dumb part. I don't care about any of it. I'm me. And then it's like, cool. Actually, I agree with you. But then why are you watching this channel? Isn't that funny how, like, it's valid to learn the piano. It's valid to play sports, right? It's valid to go explore the country. But as soon as you want to actually just do better socially, I don't need that. I'm fine with who I am. And it's like, this is not mutually exclusive. You can be, and ideally should be, fine with who you are and not need anything, but also have the fun to reach out and expand your horizons. You can absolutely do that. It is fun to sit in meditation, and it's fun to meet somebody you're very, very attracted to and run off on a wild adventure. Both are fun for different reasons. Don't be attached to the meditation and be attached to the, I'm not gonna try, and don't be attached to needing somebody else. Find that sweet middle ground. That is life. So that's what I'm trying to get at you here is follow core, sound, fundamental principles. If you have your offer down, okay, that's your offer. If you can master that exchange between offering something kind of cool in the front end, but then showing that value and not doing it in a supplicating way, but doing it in a way where it's something you'd love to do either way, and then they can be invited to it, that is where the money is, fundamentally. So if I'm doing a video like this, look, I'd love it if you did check it out. I'd love it if you made it this far through the video. But at the end of the day, I enjoy making the video for the sake of making the video, and there's gonna be people who like it either way. When I go to the event here in Seattle this week, what's gonna happen is there's gonna be people here in Seattle that'll watch this video and they won't show up. And there's gonna be many, many people who will. And I will never know the wiser the people who didn't come, because at the end of the day, do you wanna be on the yacht, in the yacht party, or do you wanna be off on the little dock, watching it go off, hearing everybody having fun? And some people, for whatever reason, they just wanna be on the side of on the dock, and that's just where they're at. But if you are somebody who actually wants to be on the yacht and having fun, click the link below, and we're gonna be doing great free events all around the world this year, and get to one of them. Click the link below if you're not from one of those cities, and make sure that you jump in the free course, and also go through these things, actually watch it, and go apply the principles. And then what I'd say to you is realize that just like me doing the free event, and I'm having fun, and some people, might, be there to enjoy it, the other ones I won't know any better, become that person too. Become somebody, ultimately, who could meet somebody out. You toss the invite, you've got a great social media follow-up. You might get it popping immediately, but if you don't, you've got that great social media follow-up. You invite them out, and if they never come, you never knew the wiser, because you have so many people that want to meet you, and so many people that are chasing down your time, and so many people that are trying to enhance your life, that if they come, it's super cool, but it's not something you need. That buyer-seller dynamic is tweaked to where you are the impressive one and the person whose attention and validation is in demand. That is what creates a tremendous amount of attraction and gets people to want to come into your life. It cannot be this sale where you're pushing something on someone, throwing a Hail Mary, taking the moonshot. Rather, it has to be an opportunity. That opportunity is well structured. You are just simply saying, opportunity here, do what you want to do, and then provide opportunities to lead that forward from there, okay? If you get this and you observe these fundamentals, your life is going to change tremendously. I almost said dramatically, because it probably will too. Freudian slip, because you get your little highs and lows with it. But the point is, it will change tremendously, and you're gonna have a better life. You're also gonna have higher quality problems, which is what I was kind of just alluding to. But you're gonna get to actually see what life is all about. Do you want to see what life is like on the other side? Just try these ideas. In the meantime, actually, since that last Redwood video, I've recorded a whole bunch. I recorded in Redwood, the Oregon coast, Cascades, Rainier today. I'll be recording at Olympic tomorrow. I'm going to record a little bit more here in Seattle. I'll be recording seminars here for the other channel. It's been really popping. So a lot more videos coming soon. I thought it would be fun to just try a shorter format, not make them perfect. You know, I put so much work in a lot of these videos. These ones, I'm just kind of like sharing the adventure as it progresses. I just thought I would try it, just like to try different things, just trying this out. Let me know how you like it, and we'll be back with more soon. Peace.